And finally, when I graduated, they sent me to San Francisco because that was the busiest place to be because war had broken out now. And we were getting up to 500 admissions a day when the boatloads came in with the casualties.
What was
And
the hospital?
yeah, Letterman. And oh golly, did we work? And we nurses weren't allowed to eat with the officers. They still were trying to figure out where nurses belonged in the Army. I mean, they'd never had nurses in the Army before, and they couldn't quite decide. So we had to run our own mess hall, and so, but they gave us all the food we wanted to run the mess hall, but we had to run our own mess hall, and so we had to either reheat the food they gave us or arrange it some way, and we had to have a nurse assigned to the mess hall duties, and she was given sometimes the cooked food and sometimes the food to be cooked. Most often she was given the food to be cooked. She was given the raw meat and the raw potatoes and the raw vegetables, whatever it was. And so we had to have a nurse assigned to that, and she had to arrange for other nurses to help her. And this is when we got a few Germans, prisoners. And oh, brother, did we love those German prisoners. They were a godsend to us. They did all the heavy-duty work, and then I got transferred to Memphis, Tennessee, and that was a brand new hospital, and nobody had been there before. And they built a 3-story hospital, but they didn't have money enough to make an elevator, so we had to carry everything from the basement to the floors, and then you had to reheat everything. If you had to carry all the food from the basement to the 3rd floor, and then you had to reheat it all, because by the time you carried it 3 floors, or if it came from the basement, it was 4 floors, and it was cold by the time you had carried it up to the 4th floor. So you had to reheat it there, and then set up trays and fix the trays for everybody. And oh golly, when we got German prisoners, were they a life send? Oh man, and they couldn't do enough for you. They never heard of such crazy assignments as we had, where they put no elevators any place. Of course, in Germany, they all had elevators in all their buildings, and here we were with a brand new 3-story building in a basement without an elevator. And so our German prisoners were they ran our mess hall, they ran our officers' club. They finally took control of everything because there weren't any men in the United States, to help us. We nurses were without any man help at all because they were all off to Germany to kill the Germans. And here we were with thousands of Germans so happy to be in the States. They couldn't be happier because they knew that the Germans were shooting everybody they took as prisoners. And here they were lucky enough to get sent by the boatloads to the United States and dumped on the United States. and you never saw such happy dumping. We're in Memphis, Tennessee. And oh golly, are we happy to have those German prisoners. We had a 3-story hospital that was brand new without an elevator. And counting the basement, it was 4 stories really, but you didn't count the basement as a story, you're 3 stories above, but it was really 4 stories because you had to get everything from the basement. And we were carrying all that food until we got this boatload of prisoners. And brother, did we think that we'd gotten presents from God. Most of the war.
Most of the war.
Oh no, I guess I wasn't. But that made the greatest impression on me was tremendous help of these German prisoners that couldn't do enough for us. And brother, we had so many patients without arms or legs or really severely damaged patients. And besides carrying all the food up from the basement and all the coffee, we had to carry all the coffee up from the basement in big jugs. And we nurses had really worn ourselves out on that job in about 2 days until they got us German prisoners. So nobody ever welcomed prisoners with more open arms than we did. And we thought they were the greatest things God had ever given us, was these prisoners. And the prisoners felt the same. I'm telling you, they couldn't do enough for us. And the